Pulse of Neopa is an interview program made to highlight the many unique and creative men and women in our community. Each episode will feature the movers and shakers who make up Canton, Ohio. Business owners, artists, musicians, DJs, craftsmen, writers, poets, and other creative individuals. In this episode, we are featuring David Scholl from Bat in a Blue Box. Hello, today on Pulse of Neopa, I have with me David Scholl from Bat in a Box. And so how you doing, David?
Good, very good.
I was in your shop the other night, and I was just totally blown away by all the good stuff you have in here. Can you give us a little tour? What is it that you do here?
Well, I started as a carpenter for my nieces and nephews, and started making rocking horses actually, and made a rocking horse for my niece. Okay. And everybody loved it and said, I want one, I want one. So gradually started making bigger and learning my trade as I went along. And we went to a Comic-Con several years ago, and a friend of mine wanted some cosplay weapons to take with him. Can you build me those? Sure, why not? I'll give it a shot. So I built him a couple cosplay weapons, and when we went to the Comic-Con, everybody was stopping me. Where did you get that? That is so cool, wow. That is so nice. Well, this guy built it. Can you build me one? Maybe? Sure, I'll give it a try. Then the next Comic-Con, I decided I was going to buy a booth and see what I could do. Okay. So I built several cosplay weapons and then thought, oh, I kind of need something else. So I started building kind of the wall hangings. I made a couple bookshelves for my own home. So I decided, well, we'll make a few and see what sells. Okay, and so business was wonderful that year.
Your carpentry, were you professionally trained or just your parents?
I grew up on a farm.
Grew up on a farm, okay.
And when you grow up on a farm, you learn to do a little bit of everything. And my attitude always was, I'll give it a try, see what happens. Okay. And you learn from your mistakes.
Okay, so I used to play with these toys all the time, and my dad used to make, I remember one of my greatest memories is he got a piece of plywood and he traced out a gun and cut us out a gun, and it was awesome. So let's kind of go through here, because I just find that each piece is just fascinating, and we will just kind of pick your brain about it.
Okay,
so,
sure.
So just kind of start telling us about these different weapons, or weapons, I should say.
I made two of these. One of them was on commission. A friend of mine wanted Chewbacca's bowcaster. Sure, I'll give it a shot. So I decided to make two at once, because make one, might as well make another one right alongside. And he loved it, so this is the second one. Okay. Same with the Star Trek phaser, actually. Okay. My brother wanted a Star Trek phaser. Can you make me one of those? Sure, I'll try. So make two of them.
Now, was this when you were 12 or?
No, this was, so I didn't start my carpentry really until about 10 years ago.
Okay. So you just did farm carpentry now.
Right, exactly. I did maintenance carpentry. I built bookshelves out of necessity. Yeah. Did that kind of thing. Did a lot of refinishing furniture. So I had learned my carpentry skills, so to speak. But then a lot of this was trial and error as I went along. Yeah. As soon as I made the Star Trek phaser, he wanted a Klingon disruptor.
Nice.
Somebody wanted a Boba Fett rifle. Ooh. So I've made 5, 7 of those already.
Now, do you have a template, or do you just?
I used to. Okay. I have so many templates that they get lost in the shuffle, and I end up remaking the templates far more than I want to.
But you're working towards that, obviously. If you
right.
Make 5,
exactly.
You're like, I got it. But then exactly. I guess you're kind of now. Is this all one piece of wood? Or
no, this is
kind of generally how do you
so
make
from
it?
Here to here is one piece, and layered for the handle.
What kind of layering are you talking here?
So I start with a 1x board,
yeah,
and then usually lay on some Luan to fill it out, and then a lot of it is just like dowel rods that I'll put on the lathe and shape, and it's just a lot. A lot of them are just layering after layering.
Yeah. So, what type of tools do you use?
I've started out very small with a jigsaw and a drill.
Okay, so just like hand tools?
Just hand tools. Okay. And since then, as I've sold things and made a little money, kind of upgrade the shop a little bit, that kind of thing.
Your parents, or like, hey, here, use the old shop? Or...
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay, sweet.
When my father passed, I actually took over a lot of his old tools.
Okay, great.
Same with my grandfather. He had a lot of old tools because he did a little carpentry on the side.
Okay.
So I've kind of taken over his lathe, taken over his tools. So a lot of hand-me-down tools.
Okay, let's keep going here. What's this one right here?
This is Harley Quinn's fun gun
Okay.
from the Suicide Squad movie.
So is that all wood or is it a mixture of?
So it's all wood except for the barrel, which is PVC pipe.
Gotcha.
Because I couldn't find big enough dowel rods. There are a couple that I've made in the past. This one is actually the Joker Bang gun. It's from the comic books.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so what's the one? Okay, so what's the shotgun right there? The regular.
A friend of mine went as Ash for Comic-Con and wanted a chainsaw and a shotgun.
Nice.
So I made a shotgun for him, and that was the second, because I always make things in pairs.
Now, how long of time does it take to make one of these? Would you say?
That's a very...
I'm not talking. I'm talking. Let's just go right to number 5.
Right.
The 5th copy. It's obviously faster, but how much time do you have into making something?
It's a very hard question, only because I'll do a little bit,
Okay.
go and grade some papers.
I got you.
Come back while the glue's drying, do a little sanding. I would say probably 4 to 8 hours of work, but it's very interspaced with letting glue dry, letting paint dry,
So
having a life.
It's really a labor of love because it's not like you're making the big bucks here.
Oh no, this is my hobby.
Okay.
Was woodworking, and some of these things that I just create, it's so much fun to play with wood and see what I can do.
Yeah.
Then I turned the hobby into a business, and for a while it lost some of its fun
Okay.
because it was, now I have to do this.
Yeah.
But it's gotten back to the fun now.
Okay. Yeah.
This one is a small version of a Stormtrooper blaster.
Okay.
I have a bigger one that's actually my daughter's, and she would not let me sell that one. So I made a smaller version.
Now, do you have the actual plastic toys that you use?
No, I go on the internet and I find screenshots
Okay.
and then blow those up and try to take measurements and
Now you said you teach school.
yes.
So you're a school teacher. What do you teach?
I teach high school British literature, and I'm also the academic team advisor and the drama director
Okay.
at Central Catholic High School.
Now, do you do props or anything like that?
In high school...
Seems like you would be.
Yes,
doing
yes,
that
yes.
for
In
that.
high school, one of my passions was drama, but
Okay.
I started with making the sets, making the props, and then when I started directing at Central, I actually started making the sets, making the props. This one I kind of invented.
Okay. Yeah.
I was going for a steampunk
Okay.
version on this side, and then I was going for kind of a tech on this side.
Yeah.
And this is literally one of the ones where I just sat down and said,
What do we need to do?
let's see what I can do. Oh, that looks
Yeah,
good
I
there.
mean, I love this right here. That's just really cool. Little pressure gauge and
Yeah.
stuff.
So old parts laying around, I never throw anything away, sadly. So old dishwashers, old washing
Sounds like
machines,
me.
I cabbage them for parts, and anything I can find that looks cool, I'll use. So this was one I just sat and totally made up on my own just to see what it looked like. So these two are both just simply trying to see what I could do. So I made the Warhammer sword
Yeah.
because a buddy of mine loves Warhammer. So I got into Warhammer a bit. And then they have obviously other big guns. So I decided, okay, let's take some inspiration from that.
That's a big gun.
Try to make a sniper rifle.
Okay.
And as you can see, it's table leg,
Okay, so you just
Nice.
mishmash, hodgepodge.
mismatched hodgepodge, exactly. I believe these are old dishwasher cables or washing machine cables. And just kind of mismatch hodgepodge.
Yeah, that's what I watched. I know exactly what that is.
Then go to Salvation Army, get yourself a nice cheap belt.
So you're constantly collecting little gizmos and gadgets. Are you a Google Outlet Store junkie like me?
Yes I am.
I'll have to, now that I see your place, I'm gonna have to just like bring you some junk. And be like, "Here you go, I know you want this."
Too much in the basement already. This one is exactly the same thing. I wanted to make something round that would fit through the hand.
Yeah.
And then once I had that, let's see what I can do. So this is actually from an old Dremel tool that broke.
Oh, yeah.
And
Little Borgish.
little Borgish, exactly.
Yeah, I
gotcha.
Exactly. From an old,
So that's just a free form.
just a free form. This is from an old TV.
All the boxes.
I made a couple boxes purely for necessity. One to keep paint in, one to keep. And then when we did the show Macbeth that I directed, I wanted a witch box for all the witches to keep their things in. When I made the witch box, which the student who played the witch took with her as a graduation gift, I thought, I'm going to make a vampire box. So, vampire box, everything you need to kill a vampire.
Is this real?
No. I didn't think real would last very long.
Did you make it?
That's actually a bought-in product.
Okay, that's cool. Just like it looks like garlic. All right, so
But then I made the hammer and the stakes.
where's the silver? Where's the silver? Ooh, is it real silver?
Sadly, no.
Oh, fake silver.
Still wood.
Ooh, nice. Okay. Got the crucifix.
And then actual
Holy
salt
water.
and graveyard dirt. The third one needs to be filled with borax. And then real holy water.
From Catholic Church, or?
Yes.
Oh, really cool. Now, is this like a vaccine? Can we?
If you put, if you put vampire blood in, dead man's blood into a vampire, then it paralyzes them.
To do that?
I stole that from Supernatural. They inject dead man's blood into a lot of their vampires.
That's cool.
And that's actually an old cattle injector that I found that my father had.
Oh.
This?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Oh, okay. So that's a real. You just repurposed it.
Just repurposed it, yep. And it was green and yellow and had a needle about yay long on it to inject a cow.
Now, in your work doing drama
Mhm.
and you're doing plays and things like that, has any of this stuff made its way in there? I mean, aside from like, you got to a point where any of these weapons or anything?
The shield was
Oh.
actually made for the show Macbeth, and Macbeth carried the shield,
Okay.
and you can see it has some wear and tear on it. And then that's what first interested me in building shields.
Oh wow,
So-
this is like not light.
That is made to use.
So the sword comes up. Oh, okay. Wow. Look at
And a little sling for your shoulder.
So it's it's heavy duty, made for. And that's a polypropylene sword.
Yes.
Okay, so that's something you just bought. Somewhere.
Right. Yeah, let me get this one. I like this one better. So this one is battle worn and battle scarred.
Okay. And that's one thing. Earlier you mentioned you've done some bow sword play.
Yes,
thing.
yes, trying to learn.
Trying
So
to-
this one is actually covered in linen and then painted with epoxy paint.
Okay, so now is this a new type of thing you've done, or?
This I started making for myself, for my own home, and again for nieces and nephews who would say, oh, I want a Pokemon for my wall. And then when I started doing the Comic-Cons, I decided, okay, rather than having just the guns, something to get more people in the door, so to speak.
Yeah. And it seems like these would be more simpler to make, or less,
Right. These
less-
are basically tracing, cutting out.
crank out 5 of them or something.
Right. Now, some of them, I started, of course, with just silhouettes, and then as my painting skills increased, got a little bit more confidence, started painting a little more. But I actually have this one, this one, this one, and this one. I actually have in my home.
Oh, okay. So you've made multiples.
Right. I forget his name. The guy who played the Blue Ranger was at the Comic-Con last year.
Oh, okay.
And so I made a lot of Blue Ranger stuff, and most of it sold simply because he was there. So I try to keep, Ahsoka, of course, is very hot this year with Baby Yoda.
What's that sickle thing?
That
from?
is Superman Red Sun.
Okay.
So it's one of those lesser known comics,
Yeah.
I read
but
it.
if Superman had landed in Russia, what would have happened? So it's one of those that if you know it, people go, I've never seen that before.
I will have to look that up. That sounds very interesting.
It's a very good comic.
Yeah. I love this one. This is great.
That one was fun. My daughter keeps begging for one of those, so.
Now, are you into role playing or anything like that, or?
So when I go to the Comic-Cons, I usually do cosplay.
Okay, cosplay.
And so
Okay.
I do a bit of cosplay myself. I don't go overboard with it.
Okay, just for fun.
And then Halloween, of course, we celebrate, and the kids dress head to toe, and I go with them dressed head to toe. So we do
What'd
have fun
you
that
dress
way.
as this past Halloween?
This past Halloween.
Or the year before, depending on the realm we're in.
One year I went as the Dread Pirate Solo, so kind of a mix between Dread Pirate Roberts and Han
Okay.
Solo. This past year I went as a vampire.
Okay, nice. Very nice.
I've watched the Lord of the Rings extras and the Weta workshops.
Yeah.
That's a dream job.
I got
To be
you.
able to build real armor and
Just be
swords.
paid good money
And
to
be paid
just
good
play,
money to
yeah.
play with, oh, that's a dream job. The bears I was making those for the nieces and nephews.
Okay.
And I had a ton of them. And then I thought, how can I sell these at a Comic-Con? Let's turn them into superheroes.
Yeah, great. Just take some. All right. Well, thank you very much, David. I'm
Absolutely.
just totally blown away, and I'm looking forward to. I'll be coming back to play, and I'd like to buy some stuff.
Okay. If you have any special requests,
Yeah, I will be thinking about that, and. Oh, you should do the. I just heard about him today. Q Shaman. He's the guy with the horns.
oh, right,
You should
right.
make one of him or do something.
I have a feeling he's going to be a popular Halloween costume.
It just sounds like it's just a neat little niche, and it's fun, you know.
It is fun.
That's the main thing. It's just fun, you know. In this day of sadness.
Life's too short not to have fun with it.
Exactly. We only live twice, as James Bond. You have any James Bond stuff here?
No, but well, that's a little high-tech stuff.